Hi, I'm Jo Rodriguez. I'm the HR Director for the Efficiency and Reform Group. I've been asked just to talk for a couple of minutes about my Myers-Briggs type and what I've learnt from that and how that helps me in terms of how I operate. So my Myers-Briggs type is an ISTJ. It's quite interesting actually because I'm the only I in my whole team, so I'll talk about that in a minute. But I think what I've learnt from the Myers-Briggs, I first did it about 10 years ago when I went on my first leadership course. And I think actually one of the first things it gave me was a bit of confidence. I've always been quite shy and felt a bit different because of that. I remember back to my very first job, and the first bit of performance feedback I got was, "You're doing really well at your job, Jo, but can you try and say good morning to the court manager in the morning?" Because I was just really shy, so I was very much sort of head down. So I think for me, when I learnt about Myers-Briggs, it did give me a bit of confidence, because I felt actually I'm quite normal. People have got different preferences. But I think for me it's not an excuse. So just because you find out in your Myers-Briggs type that you are a certain type of person and you've got certain preferences, that's not an excuse for behaving in a certain way. You've got choices about how you behave and how you then use those preferences. So what's it meant for me as a sort of a team member, as a leader as well? I think it's meant for me that I have to recognise how I'm successful and how I best work myself. So under pressure, I can find it quite difficult if there's lots of people around me, and I just want to put my head down and get on with things and think. So I've thought about how in those circumstances it's not fair for me to expect everyone around me to be quiet, but there are times when I would go and withdraw and find somewhere quiet where I can get on and do my work. I think the other thing that it's taught me about as a leader is that it is important to go out of your comfort zone, and that just because I'm an introvert, I need to do those things which for other people might come naturally. So I need to say good morning, I need to ask people about those weekends, I need to find out about what's going on in people's lives, even when at times it feels uncomfortable for me to do so. So that's another thing that I've learned. I think the final thing that I've learned as an introvert, which is a bit maybe more personal about my own effectiveness, is I tend to find meetings quite difficult. I find meetings here quite difficult, where it can at times feel like everyone's just going in and talking about what they've done and how fantastic it is, where that doesn't come naturally to me. So again, for me, I think there's the two things in there. First of all, the confidence. Actually, I don't think you need to always go in and do that, and that it's okay at times to be quiet. But also for me, it's been about thinking in advance. Okay, I find that challenging because of my preferences. I'm going to prepare and think about what are the 2 or 3 things that I can contribute to a conversation.